Today, I want to share with you how I made $500,000 in my very first year with my very first online course. That's coming up. What's up, digital dads? My name's Kerry, and on this channel, we help dads escape the 9-to-5 grind and create an online income through a profitable digital course business. So today, I want to break down with you a little bit of how I made $500,000 in my very first year with my first online course. Now, we still have that course today, and it's about 2.5 years old. It's called Shirt School, and it helps online apparel sellers grow their sales and profits. We also help people start and grow an online apparel business. And that's the very first course that I ever started about 2.5 years ago, and it's grown a lot since then. But in that first year, we did about $500,000 in sales. And so if you're out there and you're wanting to start up your first online course, I want to tell you some of the struggles I had, some of the issues, some of the things that didn't work, and also show you, of course, some of the things that did work for me. I do want to give you a little bit of a disclaimer before I dive into kind of the story and what worked and what didn't. And that is that today, I would not recommend that you do things the way that I did them. Now, there was a lot of really great nuggets that you can take from this, and a lot of good things that you can learn, and a lot of things that still absolutely work today, and some things that I would recommend that you do today. But I also did things a little bit backwards, and I had no idea what I was doing, and a few things maybe just got lucky on. So I want to throw that disclaimer out there, and hopefully you can take some lessons from this and hopefully help you on your journey of building your first digital course. So let's dive in. So as I said, the course that I originally started selling, which I still sell today, it's called Shirt School. And it's for online apparel sellers to help you start up a t-shirt business. We talk about print on demand. We talk about Shopify. I launched this course for the first time in October of 2019. I started a free Facebook group in September of 2019. So September started the free Facebook group. October, I launched it for the very first time. Now, why did I launch this course? Why did I pick t-shirts and apparel? Well, I had been building online t-shirt businesses for about 2 or 3 years before that. I had a lot of friends that were asking me, how do you do it? How have you been making money with it? And so I wanted to create an online course. I was trying to figure out what it should be about. And I said, hey, this is what I know. I know how to build online t-shirt businesses. So I'll put together a course and I'll teach people how to do what I've done. And what I did was I started a free Facebook group, and I started going live in that group, doing a live stream every single week, sometimes 2 times a week, and just sharing how I built my t-shirt businesses. I wasn't holding anything back. I wasn't trying not to tell, not to give away all the secrets. I gave it all away. I just gave value. And that would really be the first lesson today that I want to give to you if you're thinking about starting an online course is don't worry about giving away too much, right? Just give away whatever you want to give away, whether that be making YouTube videos, doing live streams, creating the group. Just tell people, just give people value. That will not hinder them from buying, I promise you. And so I was doing these live streams in September. In October, I set a date. I decided that I was going to open my online course. I was going to launch it for the first time. Now, I went live in the group and I did a webinar. If you don't know what a webinar is, it's basically an online sales presentation. You teach people for about 45 minutes, and then you open the doors, you give them an opportunity to buy your course or your program. Okay, so I did that in my group, and I made $10,000 with my very first launch about a month and a half after I'd started the group. Now that was awesome. I thought, I'm rich, I'm set for life. I'm gonna be famous, right? I'm gonna be rich. I thought that, and I was extremely wrong. For the next 6 months, I didn't make much of anything. I barely made any money. Couldn't figure out how to make this online business thing work. Now, why did that first webinar work? Well, I had been building value with these people in the group for about 6 weeks, and they had learned a lot. And so really anything that I said, they were just ready to buy my program. Anything that I said really didn't matter. They just wanted the price and wanted to know how to sign up, and they would buy. And that's what I believe why I did that $10,000. And so I think that's a great lesson for you watching if you're wanting to build a digital course. Now, you don't need a long, time frame to really make money, right? I made my first $10,000 in about 6 weeks just by going live, sharing my value multiple times a week, sharing how I built my businesses, and that worked great. And so that's kind of a really big lesson I want to make sure that you understand today is put out content, teach what you know, teach how you've done what you've done, and people will buy your course when you open it. You just got to build a ton of value with those people. Now, for the next 6 months, didn't make much money. I tried to automate that webinar as soon as it worked. I thought my webinar worked. I've got a winning sales presentation. Now I opened my course at $397. I meant to mention that. $397 was like the founding members price. Today the course is $995. And so I tried to automate that webinar. I let people register and watch the pre-recorded video. And then I just was hoping that they would just buy without me having to show up live. Well, for the next 6 months, it didn't work. I tried Facebook ads. I tried everything that I could do to make this automated webinar be profitable, and I just couldn't. And in March of 2020 is where things started to change for me, and I really started to make more money. And it was because I joined a coaching program, and I was telling my coach that I made this $10,000, but then I couldn't figure out how to make sales after that, and I really wanted it to be automated. And my coach was like, "You don't know your audience. You don't know how to sell. You don't know any of this stuff. You just gave people a lot of value and they bought your thing." And so he recommended that I start doing live webinars, live classes, right? And offering my program at the end. And then I continue to do those until I started, being profitable and making sales. And so reluctantly, I took his advice. I planned to do a live webinar in March of 2020. And right as the pandemic was happening, right, everything's crashing down. I was super terrified to do this webinar. And I should back up a little bit before that because I did do a live webinar in December of 2019. So just for the time frame, launched my course the first time, made the $10,000 in October of 2019. In December, I did do one live webinar. I ran Facebook ads. I got 800 people to sign up for the webinar. I made a grand total of $0. $0. It was a complete failure. I spent a few $1,000s on advertising. It was a complete failure. I had no idea what I was doing. And after that webinar, I was like, man, I never want to do a live webinar again. I just wanted it to be automated because I didn't want to face people, right? That can be really difficult. But I'm really glad that my coach that I hired encouraged me to do another live webinar because I spent a lot of time, a lot of effort building a new webinar, trying my best to figure out what my the customer pain points were and how to attack those in the webinar and how to create a really, really sexy offer that people would buy. So I did a live webinar in March of 2020 and I made $27,000, almost 30 grand in basically a couple days. I did a 1 hour class, taught a bunch of stuff, opened the doors to my program. I made it, I believe it was $497 at that point. And I made $27,000. And this is when things started to shift for me. And it's really when I started to figure out how to put on a live event and a live launch and how to actually make people buy and what those triggers were. And so the next big moment, it came for me in June of 2020 when I decided to do a 5-day challenge. And what that means is for 5 days, I went live. I taught people how to start a t-shirt business, an online t-shirt business. And at the end of the 5 days, I sold my program, which showed them how to sell their t-shirts and apparel, right? And get ready for this. My first challenge launched June of 2020. My course was, 9 months old at this point. I made $98,000 from that first challenge launch. I want to show you a few things really quickly on my screen just to I want to show you what these pages look like and how simple they are. The first thing I want to show you here is kind of a webinar registration page. This is very similar to the webinar registration page I used on that first webinar in March of 2020. I've done a ton of webinars since then, but I always use this page, right? The verbiage was a little bit different. There were a few things that were different, but essentially it's this very simple registration page where you click this button, you reserve your seat. After this, I'd send you a couple of emails saying, hey, don't forget about our live webinar coming up, our web class. And then I just had a Zoom account. I let people join with the Zoom link and I just gave value for 45 minutes and opened my program, after that. This is a very simple setup. Emails, this basic landing page, and a Zoom account. And that's really what made me that first, almost $30,000. Told them what they're going to learn right here. Told them a little bit about me. Really strong headline, right, about the class. That was it. Now, when I did that challenge, this gives you an example of what the challenge registration page looks like. Now, this is more complex, right? I've improved this over the last 2.5 years, written copy, and I have testimonials and all this stuff, but you don't need a complex page like this to run a challenge, right? You could have a challenge registration page that looks very similar to this. The biggest things are that you have a strong headline, that you tell a little bit about yourself, and you tell people what they're going to learn, right? If we go on my challenge page where people can sign up for the challenge, and this is the challenge page I use to this day. If you go down here, this shows them what they're going to learn each day. I think that's really important, right? And so those are really the key elements. If you have testimonials, make sure you include the testimonials, have a strong headline, tell them what they're going to learn each day, and tell them a little bit about yourself. That's the biggest thing that you need to do. And so that June 2020 challenge made $98,000, where everything just started to really explode. I did another challenge in August of 2020, and that one again made about $80,000, right? And that worked really, really well. And so the lesson out of all this is why did this work? Well, I want to tell you why this works. It's very simple. And I know, you maybe hear this all the time. You have to deliver a ton of value, over deliver. That's what I live by. And so with the 5-day challenge, I want to deliver 5 days of value to my audience. And so when I open my course, it's a no-brainer. And I believe that's why it works. And another thing I'm thinking about that I just want to mention is I know that it can be hard for people at first to get on a camera, right? It's nerve-wracking. You maybe don't have the confidence. You're scared of what people will think. But I want to encourage you to push through. Take imperfect action. The first time I got on a live stream, a webinar, it was awkward, right? The first time I recorded a YouTube video, it was super awkward. I was super bad. I didn't know how to operate a camera, didn't know how to operate a microphone, didn't know how to speak, didn't know how to make eye contact, any of those things. You have to do it consistently, and you will get better, and you will build the confidence. And, sometimes it takes just failing that first time and getting over the failure to really get to the success, and doing it a few times and just getting better and better. And that's what I would encourage you with is the first time I got on camera, that first live webinar, it was pretty bad. But those people, luckily, I'd already built a lot of value with those people, and that's how I made the 10,000. The second time was in December. I had 800 people that registered. I got destroyed. I got slaughtered because I had no idea what I was doing. My webinar was like 30 minutes long, and it was brutal. There was no value provided because I just had no idea how to deliver value and ask for the sale. And then by March of 2020, I finally had that breakthrough, $27,000. And by that time, I'd done a ton of live streams. I'd been on camera a lot, so I was so much more comfortable with it. And so today, I've made right around close to $2 million with this one online course. Most of the other money I'd made in that first year was through affiliate revenue, promoting products like Shopify, which I love, and other softwares that I was using. And I did end up making some money towards the back half of the year from my automated webinar funnel. I was able to automate it and run ads and kind of figure that out as I continue to tweak my webinar. But most of it came from the challenges, the live webinars. And so the last thing I want to say is, don't be afraid to live launch. I know we all want it to be automated, but live launching is so powerful. You can make a so much better connection with your audience, and it's so much easier to sell your products from a live webinar, a live challenge, a workshop. There's so many ways to do it. So I'm really happy with what happened in that first year, and we've been growing ever since. And I've created just an amazing life for myself and my family, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So if this is your first time watching this channel today, I want to let you know that we're going to be putting out more content on this Digital Dads channel. I want to help dads create a life that I've been living, where I have my dream home, can provide for my family. I send my kids to private school. I drive a cool car, and we go on vacations when we want, and I can work on my own time on whatever I want. I'm not here to be a guru and teach you and show you my Lamborghinis. I want you to help you create something that is real, where you can 2x to 5x your yearly income that you make right now, and you can have the freedom to spend more time with your family, buy the things you want, and work on what you want whenever you want. And so the last thing I want to tell you today is if you want to learn more about building a profitable online course business, I've actually put together a free ebook and audiobook. I want to give you the ebook and the audiobook completely free. It's called How to Become a Digital Dad. You can pick this up completely free by going over to carrieegler.com/book. You'll learn a ton of stuff. I'll basically tell you why I believe building a digital course business is the best business that you can create. And I'll give you the 3-step process to build it, to sell it, and how to deliver value and all that stuff. So if you want to get a copy of that, carrieegler.com/book. It is completely free. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also hit the like button, and talk to you soon.